Before sharing care, Damien would shut down, become an introvert, and not want to do anything, like not express his feelings at all. Since coming to sharing care, he's able to express himself more freely, communicate better, and we have a better relationship now.
And one day, one of the kids was murdered. The classmates kept asking, where is this young man? Folk that run the daycare center did the very best that they could in trying to explain to these young people what had happened. So they went with counselors and chatted with the children, and the children were able, they helped the children move on, they helped the children deal with their emotions and their feelings. They already kind of organized, they had this team, and then the question became, well, what do we do with it? Whenever there was an issue, this team led by Susan was there, helping people each and every day, to the point where it just became this long-standing operation that has been in effect for over 30 years.
I cannot say enough about it. Opens more doors, gives more space for communication and positive learning skills on how to cope.
You get horrific accidents. This was drawn by a child whose mother was killed in a car crash. Death. We talked about grief and loss. A number of schools, and probably everyone at some point, has had a child, and the child is really struggling with the loss. Bullying, where one is really making fun of the other. Ha ha, you big fat girl, and the others, leave me alone. We know bullying is a really big issue, and we know that when we hear about these horrific shootings, it all stems back to the issue of bullying, which stems back to the issue of socialization and how you get along and how you resolve fights. And then the schools we're at have a large number of parents incarcerated. Unfortunately, some of the kids actually see the parents in cuffs being pulled away. Gang violence. Most of my schools deal with gang violence. Some of them are right in the heart of South Central and Watts, where I get a text from them, we're in lockdown, or something is really horrific taking place. And then suicide. Unfortunately, there are kids that they don't know how to resolve their issues. And even as young as elementary school, we've had kids that say that they want to harm themselves and hurt themselves. So this is where talking to the kids, dealing with the kids, really it makes such a big difference, because they have a safe place to go put all of these feelings, hopefully, versus acting them out with you.
But we have the sharing care therapists there 2 days a week, and we could actually go 5 days a week, if it were possible.
Art is so much a big part of our program. But as they're developing, our identities are developing and their self-esteem is developing. So in the elementary school, I focus a lot on social skills and how they engage and how they interact with their peers. Mindfulness is really something great that we've incorporated with the bowls and breathing and some of our activities, and really letting these kids to have an inner sense of peace and balance and a confidence, and they can know who they are.
See, prior to sharing care, our children would come to us and there are a lot of things going on, and really honestly a lot of our teachers did not know how to address any of the problems that our children were having. And a child with a problem can't come in and learn.
The big change from elementary to middle school is huge for our kids. It's a larger school environment. They're constantly changing classes. They have multiple teachers. The academic pressures are much higher. So they're dealing with this all at one time in a very short period of time. And that doesn't matter if they're coming into middle school as 6th graders or 7th graders. It's a huge, overwhelming change. Expectations for our children at this age change a lot. We expect them to take on a lot more responsibility that developmentally they may not always be ready for, And again, so they need our support in helping us guide them through that. And it was a book of images that told a story about their lives in their own words. And the reason they had to do this was the outside cover had to do with how do they put themselves out to other people? What's their public face? And then on the inside was their internal selves, or what they're really thinking about, what they're really feeling, the parts of themselves that they keep just for themselves or just for very few people that others don't see.
But the subtle difference is a lot of times in high school, some of that anger that has been building from elementary, middle school to high school can shift into violence, or is starting to be aware that, wait, I've been dealing with violence in my home for a long time. I don't know how to react with my friends when I get angry without it going to violence. On the upper right, I hit the wall when I get mad. The cognitive change, what should I do instead? I should ignore the person. I wish it was always like this.
They have a chance to express what no one really in their lives are really touching on. An incarcerated parent, hunger, abandonment, all of those issues that add all of these stressors.
The parents learn, they explore their own self-esteem, their own family patterns, and their own communication patterns in order to change them. We also help them practice, identify, and manage emotions, and I have to say the specific one is stress management, because we know that when parents are really stressed, they are more likely to mistreat their kids. This year, we have some of our parents who were in the workshops last year who went back to school this year, not just to learn English and Spanish, but also to learn to read and write.
Many people want to tell you that problematic, challenging student behavior is a nuisance that has to be suppressed. We know that it is a fantastic opportunity for growth and change. By that I mean, No Haters Here activities help people to connect with each other, and they help them to connect their lives with each other through the cultivation of empathy and the practice of relationship skills.
A radical shift from our usual and habitual triangle culture to a culture of the circle. And it's not so distant or so strange as it might seem. We have in the West about a 200-year amnesia with regard to the circle.
What is mindfulness-based stress reduction? It's an opportunity for us to retrain our relationships to events. And it is about training the mind, not about relaxation. I'm going to say this really loudly. It's not about relaxation.
When we do counsel in schools, we insist that the faculty sit in counsel with one another before they ever attempt to bring it to the children.
Children who have this kind of problem with chronic trauma really react from a very, very primitive place in the back of their brain. They're all the time in a survival method, like a lizard. And so what we know from multimodal expressive arts is that what can help them and help them be more mindful is the exact things that Sharing Care does, which is music, the using of the crayons and the markers that are soft, that are non-menacing. So with a child that is in that condition, a doorway into mindfulness is really the multimodal aspects of art making.
I've been teaching, this is my 23rd year, and it's my first year at Gardner, and the counsel practice is phenomenal. It's just remarkable how transformative it is for me as a teacher.
So now we're also trying to show our parents and have a training for our parents, because if the school is doing it, Grid is doing it, the parents really need to be involved, because they need to learn how to change their dialogue. They need to change the way they see things.
Sharing Care is a starting point for the kids, whether it's elementary school, middle school, or high school. Sharing Care uses art therapy as a way in. Art therapy starts that. When you draw, you cannot be not in your body. You're connected. And this is just another way of enhancing that and another tool as a way in.
Psychological Trauma Center and Suzanne Silverstein, who's led that program for as many years as she has accomplished, is really, truly remarkable, and we're so happy to be a part of it.
So much of the Eastern and what we've learned in other modalities, really Sharing Care and Psych Trauma Center has been doing for a long time. Art therapy is definitely the way, and I think it's great.
I've been to the schools, I've seen it with my own eyes, and I was literally blown away. And they become members, positive members of our society. I can't say enough. Somebody's gonna have to come out here and hook me off camera, because I'm a big supporter of this program, and whenever they need me, I will be available.
Whenever I go into the campus and I get to meet the kids and the teachers and the parents, they make me feel good about what I do.